Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we are at 573 subscribers. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the support, and as always, I look forward to keep making these videos and keep growing the channel with all of you, and just thanks. I love to say thanks for you guys. I appreciate it. So, it has been raining all week here. I don't know how much rain we've actually gotten, but somewhere in the 2, 3, maybe 4 inch range. Monday Night League was canceled due to rain. Tuesday Night League we just got poured on all the time, and yesterday, last night it rained as well. Meaning I have not had a chance to film a video for you guys. But I had two options essentially. Today is Thursday when I'm filming this, the normal day my videos come out. It was either I go to Eureka today and film around, which I think I'm still going to do because they're setting up the temp course a little bit early, or I film a video about a question a friend asked me this week. So I get asked all the time, how do you get sponsored? How did I get sponsored? What do I have to do to get sponsored, etc. The person's name is Andrew Carlson, who most recently asked me. And plus, he does drone flights and stuff and course previews via drones and things like that, or whole previews like that. So I will be using his footage soon on my channel. He's been kind enough to share these things with me through through the last year or so. I just have already done the courses that he sent me videos of, so now I can actually use his drone stuff in my videos, and I think it'll be great for some extra entertainment value for you guys. But he asked me that question, and I'm not one to skimp on an explanation. So I hadn't really thought about the question of how I've gotten sponsored and what my journey has looked like thus far. So when he asked me that, it really took me back. Let's flash back to my first sponsorship. So we have to go back all the way to 2012. I had been playing at this point for 1 year. I started in 2011 in the spring. And my second tournament ever, I met Johnny Harrison, the owner of Plastic Addicts, this place I'm sitting in right now. I feel like this was my house, good on you, but I'm not this cool, I guess, to have a nice shipping facility at my house. I met him at an Ironman tournament, which was, I think, the first tournament I ever played, or maybe the second. Either way, one of the first few tournaments I ever played. I met him and he's like, hey, I'm gonna open up a disc golf shop. I thought that was awesome at the time. I was so ambitious and so interested in the sport, and I caught the bug right away. So I pretty much joined our local club, the Peoria Frisbee Club, as well. He told me he was going to open a shop up, and ironically enough, the other guy I played with in the card wanted to kind of collab with him, and it was just us three. We talked about it for a while, and it instantly gave me something to work towards. So, and I think a shop sponsor is something where you all should kind of start looking first, because it's the easiest sponsorship to obtain, in my opinion. Let's go to maybe 6 months later. I'm playing events at this time. Nate Heinold and Johnny Harrison are collabing through Ledgestone. This is before Ledgestone is what it is now. They kind of worked together and had their own team, and I think it was Umbrella. It was under just the Plastic Addicts umbrella at the time. So Nate would joke with me and say, hey, I want you to get your rating to 940, get rated higher than me, just normal Nate banter, and I will consider you for the team. So we went through a whole year of tournaments, essentially, go all the way to Ledgestone Insurance Open, the Super Tour event. I think this would have been the second year of Ledgestone, period. I found myself playing out of my mind in the final nine at the Ledgestone Insurance Open in MA1. Which, final nine, right? That sounds like a relic of disc golf. But I shot 10:08, 10:04, and 9:59. So going into that the last final nine, they literally were going to announce my name, and then all of a sudden Johnny snuck over to the PA, or the guy on the PA, and he pretty much said, make sure you say Team Plastic Addicts, Gary Patton. So kind of a little storybook intro to being sponsored. a very interesting way, to say the least. So I joined Plastic Addicts in the end of 2012. Let's flash forward, since that was almost the start of 2013 when that happened. Let's flash forward to the end of 2014. At this point in time, I had worked my way up through MA1, back to MA2 because I struggled for a bit, then back to MA1, and I figured out how to win. You have to lose a lot to figure out how to win in disc golf. I think that's pretty obvious. So I jumped into the 2015 season, ambitious as ever. I finally cashed in some tournaments, but at the very end of the year, I went up to Madison, Wisconsin and got a top 10 at an A tier, rated 968. That gave me the confidence to really push and kind of go out and search for things. A lot of people are like, man, you just get good, people come to you for sponsorships. That's not necessarily the case. So with this instance, I threw the Vibram VP and absolutely loved it. So I approached Steve Dodge and said, hey, check this out. I, luckily enough, got an ace on video from the disc golf guy, and I gave it to Steve, and I was like, hey man, I love your product. I would love to support the product. I'm a great ambassador. I'm good for your brand. I can get better as a player. Let's just work together here and grow Vibram in my area and do as much as I can to help you, and you guys can help me, and just let's grow together. And Steve Dodge put me on Team Vibram. It just so happened too, I jumped in at the right opportunity because Dana Vici was leaving Vibram for Prodigy, and I just saw it as an opportunity and jumped on it. And even if he wouldn't have left, I think I still had a good shot at getting on the team. So either way, it worked out really well, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. I went through a full year with Vibram. 2015, I got my first pro win. I actually got 3 pro wins, if I remember correctly. Yes, I won 3 pro tournaments. And so going into 2016, the end of 2015, I tried Vibram out. I love the putters. I did not like the drivers, however. So I had to scrap that. I left on very good terms. Steve Dodge and I are still friends to this day. Stand-up guy. So I ended up being introduced to Matt Seary at the end of the 2015 season, who owned Heiserbomb. So I reached out to Matt and said, hey man, same thing as before. You don't have a lot of support in our area. Let me help you and we can grow this thing together. And I'd be a great representation of your team in Illinois. At the time my rating was about 980, 975. So at that point you're able to get sponsorship on skill instead of kind of like a collaboration on skill and just being ambassador of a brand. So I pretty much just said, hey, I'm a solid player. I will help grow your brand, obviously. Let's do this thing. Let's give it a shot. So I joined Heiserbomb in 2016, and I would end up staying with them for 3 years. So I had a good time with that. They made more versatility plastic. I was able to throw an all Innova bag. Then I started throwing Discmania, a little Millennium at the time. The Aurora MS really got me hooked on Millennium. And then I decided a year later, after I already had the connection with Heiserbomb, the mortar, the Sabot, and something else, it's been a while. So they were all branded underneath Millennium, which is all made by Innova, obviously, but it'll say powered by Millennium. And that's I'm staring at this mortar every day that says powered by Millennium. And then I get the thought in my head after a year of being on Heiserbomb, why don't I collab with Millennium? So I talked to Matt Seary, who hooked me up with Jess Valholtz, I can't remember how to say his name exactly, but the owner of Millennium, or one of the owners of Millennium. And he's like, hey, do you want me to put in a good word for you? Would you be interested in this? And I was like, absolutely I would. So I ended up joining Millennium and getting on their gold team in 2017. Loved the whole brand and all of that stuff. I really, really had fun with that for a few years. And then I pretty much got to the point of my bag slots weren't entirely full. They were mostly there, but I wasn't quite fulfilled as a player and had all of the tools I feel like I needed to progress my game. I just needed more help to travel as well. So I started pursuing my options. Jake Armbrust, before anything, pretty much came to me and said, hey man, you'd be a great fit on MVP. And I watched him get good quick. He was throwing the plastic extremely well. He said they really cared for him and hooked him up. I also played with Matt Dollar several times, and he kind of told me the same thing. He's like, his exact word for, man, the Kool-Aid is just fine over here. Just some weird saying thing he said to me, but you know what? He wasn't wrong. So luckily, Steve Holloway is local to our area. I was able to kind of get in his ear and tell him like, hey man, I've been throwing the stuff a little bit. And then we pretty much had a club event called Grill and Disc. Shameless plug. There's actually next weekend here. If you're a Pure Physical member or if you are looking to go to an event, it will be at Camp Kearney next week. Awesome private course. But back to this. So we go to Grill and Disc. My friend Russell Grammer is selling discs. I buy a couple nitros from him. At this point, Jake has already given me stacks and stacks of plastic to try out. I played the whole event using MVP and just kind of showed Steve what I could do with it. After the round, I threw hundreds of extra shots with Jake and Alan Schneider. Shout out to Alan. He always has great discs I need. And yeah, so I just pretty much gave Steve a little show of what I could do with the plastic and explained to him that I've already learned my new bag. And yeah, all that. January 1st or 3rd, whatever it was, of 2019, I signed my contract with MVP Disc Sports. Oh, and I forgot this, Paragon. I'm sorry, Miles. I love Paragon so much. So we'll get back to the MVP thing in just a minute. So throughout the course of me getting sponsored by Plastic Addicts, and then when I finally got sponsored by Vibram, I was traveling with Johnny a lot, helping him vend at like Bowling Green and just other big tournaments throughout our area. Miles Parkhill was typically always with us in conjunction. We wouldn't necessarily be vending together, but we were all friends on the road. We hung out, we ate a lot together. And Miles just saw that I pretty much always wore a Paragon hat, always wore Paragon shirts, saw that I just loved the brand. And this was before I was endorsed by them at any way, shape, or form. I was always wearing his product, and he just saw how much I loved it. So eventually, when I got sponsored by Vibram, I started playing MPO. I was added to Team Paragon, and I am still so grateful for that. If you'll notice, I either wear Paragon shirts, Plastic Addict shirts, or MVP shirts. I always support the people that support me, and I can't thank all of them enough. So thank you, Miles, for your support as well. Back to the MVP thing. So in 2019, January, I signed my contract with MVP. And at that point in time, I was rated, 990. When I got put on Paragon, I was rated about 970. When I got put on Heiserbomb, I was rated about 970. When I got put on Millennium, I was rated about 980 as well. And I haven't taken on any new sponsors over the last 3 years or so. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I thought about looking for a new bag sponsor soon, but it has to fall underneath my sponsorship agreements with MVP, and I have to genuinely like the product, because I don't like being sponsored by someone when I can't talk good about the product and tell you, be honest with you, then I can't really support it, or it's just hard. I'm not trying to give you something or support something that I wouldn't use so you go out and hate it. Like that's not me. I'd rather be a real person about all of that. So moral of this story, you have to seize opportunity when it's in front of you. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, and you really, really have to just grind and try. You're going to fail. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me was when Dave Feldberg was making a street team essentially for Trilogy. I was rated 970 as an AM, and I was denied on that application. I mean, I had already went to the point of using judges for putters and really trying to get used to them. And when that denied me, it honestly fueled my fire. It made me want to prove them wrong, and it made me want to achieve so much more success and just lit a fire under my butt. So I am grateful for that. I almost joined Team Innova, and I was supposed to meet with Jonathan Poole just to finalize some stuff. That I played bad at Ledgestone, and pretty much I was so embarrassed I didn't want to meet with him. And then when I contacted him again, he's pretty much like, hey man, maybe next year, like, you should have met with me kind of deal. And I'm just like, man, that sucked. But then again, it was a great learning experience. You make bad decisions as a human. It's programmed into your brain. You're going to do it. Social media presence now is huge. I didn't do YouTube or anything like that, obviously, before a year and a half ago. It does nothing but help you. So do social media. You know, shout out brands you like. Paul McBeth does it all the time. You see him like secretly, like you could tell he tried to get sponsored by New Balance. He had like a Nike thing. He tries to, like, he obviously made Adidas work too, but he tries to put in those things and be like, hey, look, I'm using your stuff. Like, check it out. And eventually disc golf is going to be to the point, which we almost are now. Like, I watch a lot of fishing videos. You tweet something and shout someone out and they send you like a care package. Like, it's crazy where you can get with social media. Brodie Smith, he's obviously getting very good at disc golf, but he, like, look at the pull he has. It's amazing what you can do, guys. To wrap it all up, it's a mixture of knowing people, building connections, obviously, a little bit of luck, sprinkle some skill on there. You know what? If you just become a 1030 player, everyone will sponsor you. But that's not realistic for most people. So get around 970 for skill level if you're looking to get on like a pro team or like a gold team of sorts, a higher team. Social media presence will make that rating instantly go up about 20 points as long as you're consistent and good at it. Not literally, but in the eyes of your sponsor, as far as value you present to them. Just try, don't be afraid to fail, is what I'm trying to say. And there is how I got sponsored and the journey that it's taken me on so far. I will tell you right now, MVP is the longest sponsor I've stayed with, so I'm obviously very happy with them. I haven't pursued anything else as far as clothes go. Paragon, I'm extremely happy. Plastic Addicts has supported me so much over the years. I am grateful and am very comfortable here and do not want to pursue any other options for teams that I'm on besides a bag. So if a bag sponsor happens to watch this and wants me to check out their stuff, I will gladly check it out. But guys, thanks as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little story time here. And thanks as always to my sponsors, MVP, Plastic Addicts, and Paragon. And I will see you in the next one, which will probably be a Lake Eureka playthrough.